Morning to everyone, including all those out in Zoom land. Hi, Sister Marilyn. Okay, we are going to start in a seated position. So if you do have a cushion or a block, place it underneath your buttocks. And today we are focusing on our rib cage. Now, the rib cage was actually designed to protect the heart and the lungs. However, the lungs, when they're not able to expand to their fullest capacity, means reduced energy for us. So therefore, the muscles that we are going to stretch and focus on today are the intercostal muscles, and they are what they sound like. They're right between your ribs. Also, important, and probably the most important, and if anybody is a singer or knows a singer, they talk about breathing from your diaphragm. I don't exactly know what that means, but let's just review that the diaphragm is a, now I've just lost the word, dome-shaped muscle. And it actually attaches just below the sternum, and it goes all the way down to the top of your hips. So yoga is brilliant for stretching and the diaphragm. And what it does, actually, it flattens. And as it flattens, it pushes the belly out. So you know you're activating your diaphragm when your belly goes out on an inhale. My belly's out all the time, but it's just a little more on an inhale. Okay. The other one, the serrates anterior. These are muscles that actually wrap around your rib cage. And the other ones that I want to mention are the lats, the latissimus dorsi. And we're going to stretch these and strengthen these muscles. And the lats actually go from the back of your spine, the bottom of your shoulder blades, and again, they go all the way down to the back of your sacrum. So all of these muscles, when they're enlivened, when they're mobilized, means we have greater comfort and mobility through this whole rib cage area. And actually the shoulder blades and the shoulders are all part of the package, if you will, that when they're stretched, we can breathe easier. When we have better and easier mobility. So where I want to start, however, is you need a block or something to sit under your bum. So you can sit up nice and tall. You have a block, Janet? Yeah? Okay, great. Because if you put that, when we do breathing exercises, it's really important to sit up tall. And if sitting cross-legged isn't comfortable for you, there are other options. There's putting the block, sitting comme ça, or just, if your legs become uncomfortable, then please just straighten them out in front. You're here to release tension and stress, not to add more to it. So where I'd like to begin, it's called Dirga Pranayama. And it's just 3-part breathing. It's super simple. Dirga, if you've heard the name, I have a friend who names all their cats after Hindu deities. Kali, Dirga, they're cat people, let's put it that way too. And they're yogis. So Dirga is the deity, and she's an aspect of Shanti, but she's a protection. She's like a mother. She's a warrior goddess, and she's a force that can destroy evil. And pranayama breathing exercises, for people who don't know, is a higher aspect of the physical practice. There is greater energy in a pranayama workshop than there will ever be in a physical workshop. And I've done the weekend workshops with people from Kripalu. You don't even need to eat, because the energy that you get from the air, which is already in your food, if it's living food, you're getting it directly. It's like you can eat the cow who ate the grass, or you could just eat the grass. You know what I mean? Eat the food that wasn't processed by another animal first. And so by doing our breathing exercises, We infuse the body with incredible energy, but the Dirga Pranayama is more about centering, balancing, grounding, and just sort of evening everything out. So sitting up as tall as you can, just take a few normal breaths in and try to relax your shoulders, separate your biting surfaces of your teeth, and just rest your hands however it feels best on your thighs. But sitting up tall is key. And you're going to be breathing in through your nose and hopefully breathing out through your nose unless you're plugged. Okay, so beginning. As you inhale, feel the belly expand and the rib cage and the chest lifting. And as you exhale, the chest falls and the rib cage relaxes and the belly also collapses. Inhaling, three-part belly, rib cage, chest. Exhaling, chest, rib cage, belly. Do this on your own, noticing the belly, expanding, rib cage also expands, chest lifts, then the chest falls, diaphragm relaxes, and the belly. Breathing in through your nose to warm, purify, and humidify, moisten the oxygen that's entering into your lungs. And let's face it, without the capacity to breathe, we would be nothing but a bag of bones. The breath and the quality of your breathing has an enormous impact on the quality of your life. The body will breathe without us needing to control it. But when we want to create a sense of calm, the breath is the place to turn to. Okay, and just breathe normally for a moment. So that's called Dirga Pranayama, three-part breathing. You can do it lying down as well. The next breath I just would like to share with you. So you have this tool, it's called Sama Vritti. So Sama is really about equal, and Vritti is the Sanskrit word for mental fluctuations, too much thinking. And basically, on an inhale, you count to 4. And on an exhale, you also count 4. Sama Vritti Pranayam. Inhaling to the count of 4. And exhaling also to 4. Go ahead. Continue. So you're coordinating your breath with counting. And once we're experienced in this sort of thing, we don't need to count. However, the counting gives your monkey mind something to do. And one more round of breathing into 4 and exhaling to 4. And keeping your eyes closed, rub your palms together vigorously, generating heat and warmth. And then cup them over your eyes, bathing them in this blue-black warmth. This is a technique for people spending a lot of time in front of a screen. And then wash the side of your face and apply your little Buddha smile. So, be aware of the effect of what we do in our class so that you recognize the power, the potential, and the tools that you have at your disposal when you need them. Okay, so just staying in the seated position. If you need to stretch your legs at any time, please go for it. You're going to place your right hand on the floor, and you're going to inhale and reach the left arm over. So we're stretching sideways now. That hand that's on the floor might stretch out a little further away from your body or not. But you're reaching with that top arm. So you're stretching your intercostal muscles, expanding the rib cage on the left. And then inhale, reaching up. Exhale, float that hand down. Inhale, sweep the other arm up. Exhale, leaning sideways, using the hand on the floor to support you so you're not collapsing, but stretching one side, compressing the other is excellent for mobilizing, because of course all these joints in the rib cage have many facets. Inhale, reaching up, and let's do one more time on each side. Reaching your left arm up, exhale, and inhale as well when you need to. And inhale, reaching up, and gently land that hand and reach the other arm up, and bending sideways. And back up, and then you can remove your cushion off to the side. And we're going to come into our cat-cow. We do it often, but when it comes to mobilizing the rib cage and the spine, this is one of the safest, most effective ways to flex and extend the spine. So make sure your knees are underneath your hips and your hands are underneath your shoulders. Now, I did say, if people have issues with their wrists and you have 2 blocks, and if you use the blocks like this, it takes some of the pressure off the wrists, okay? I don't know if anybody has that issue with wrists, but I'm showing you that if you do, this can take some of the pressure off the wrists. But if you're fine, carry on. Make sure your middle finger's pointing forward and the rest of the fingers are spread apart. And on an exhale, round your spine, pressing all 10 fingers into the mat, pull your bellies in, really extend here, the spine, tucking the chin, curl your toes under, and then lengthen as you hollow out your lower back, flexing your spine. And of course, this gets into the rib cage. Exhaling, round your spine into cat. Dropping your head and your tail, curling your toes under, hollow out the lower back, draw the heart center forward, lifting the head. Exhale, rounding the spine. Now think about how the muscles, the lats, latissimus dorsi in the back, are helping to keep the shoulder blades stable no matter what the movement. Your latissimus dorsi, they connect to the back of your, curl your toes under, coming into cow pose, connecting to the bottom of the shoulder blades, the thoracic rib cage, that's the upper back. And again, flattening the tops of the feet, coming into cat. And last time into cow. So you're hollowing out the lower back, and now come back to neutral. And let's thread the needle, but we're going to repeat this a couple times before we settle down. Now, for some of you, when we're doing the thread the needle, if you feel that your head would be more comfortable with something underneath it, then just have your cushion ready for that, okay? But we won't need that just for a moment. You're going to inhale the right arm up, reach and stretch up. Feel that rib cage, moving all the muscles around the rib cage, and thread the needle, reaching through. We're not staying here. We're going to come back, pull the needle out, reaching it up. Exhale, needle through. Inhale, needle out. Exhale, needle through. Last time, needle out. And needle in. And this is where, if your face or the side of your head's not comfortable on the floor, you can add some height with a cushion or a block. And then if you wish, tippy-toe the fingers of the other hand straight out in front, flexing the spine. And bring that hand back if you walked it out, the left hand, pressing up. Hands once again underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath your hips. Inhale, sweep the other arm up. Exhale, thread it through. Inhale, pull the thread out. Exhale, thread through. Inhale, thread out. Exhale, thread through. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale through. One more time. We may have done it one more time on this side. And reaching up. And let's thread the needle and leave your hand and arm there. Again, you can keep the right hand under the shoulder, or you can tippy-toe the fingers out in front, stretching, flexing the spine and all of the muscles around the rib cage, your latissimus dorsi, your serrates anterior on one side being stretched, intercostals, and the diaphragm's mostly relaxed. And then bring the fingertips back. And this is where, if you need a cushion under your knee for Ustrasana, camel pose, so this opens up the chest. Is it getting too warm? Because if it is, Liz, will you back off the thermometer? Thank you. Okay, so either fold your mat over if you need the extra cushioning for your knees. You can also, again, if you've got two blocks, you can either curl your toes under. That will keep yourself higher in this position. As I said, if you want to use the blocks. And if your lower back doesn't really want to flex too much, then keep your hands on your waist and just lift your sternum up and arc back, but keep the extension. Now, for those of us who have a little more flexibility in the back area, lift your left arm up and lower it to your heel. And just see how that goes. And the right arm up and lower it to the other heel. And then Press your sternum forward. Obviously, major chest opener, lung expander. When we sit hunched over, there's no way our lungs are going to fill with oxygen, nor are they going to release all the carbon dioxide. So this is a great anecdote if you sit a lot and your posture is less than stellar. And then bring your hands to your waist and uncurl your toes, and I won't ask you to do that again. So place your blocks to the side, but I do want to ask you now to everyone to come into puppy pose. So this is a modification of child's pose, but again, what it does is it's now a counter stretch for your lats. So basically, your hips are over your knees and they stay there. And then you walk your hands out in front. This again, you may want something under your forehead, so have it handy. Or maybe your forehead or your chin can just go down to the floor. Puppy pose, reaching the arms out in front. So this would be an axial stretch, axial extension, lengthening. It's also a slight inversion because your heart is now higher than your head, just slightly. But you can feel the stretch through the shoulders, shoulder blade area. Your lats are stretching, serrates anterior, the muscles that wrap around your rib cage, your intercostals, and you might notice you're even breathing a little more deeply here. And then bring your hands back and let's take a real child's pose. So take your knees as wide as your mat. Your big toes touch, flatten the tops of your feet, and slowly take your hips back towards your heels. If this is too much bending for your knees, then please modify it, releasing your torso between your thighs and your forehead on the mat. Notice your rib cage expanding in the back and the sides. Most of the breathing and breathing and expansion of the lungs does take place at the side and the back. Okay, come on up. Draw your knees underneath your hips, curl your toes under. We're going to come up into a soft dog and walk the dog. Inhale, lifting up. You can keep your knees soft for a moment. Press your sits bones towards the back wall. Make sure all 10 fingers are pressing into the mat. So again, a nice stretch for your latissimus dorsi. These are hard-working core muscles in the back. And then bend one leg and straighten the other. Feeling the stretch in the back of the straight leg. Tiger Woods is on the bench now due to, I think, a torn Achilles heel. I'm not a golfer. But he's sidelined. And change. And I'm amazed. I think that, of course, he would be stretching everything, but the body, like any machine with moving parts or not, is subject to wear and tear. And change. Check in with your head for a moment. Make sure you're relaxing your neck. No tension in your neck. One leg straight, one bent. And changing. This is an inversion as well. Of course, because your heart is higher than your head. And then walk your feet towards your hands. And let your upper body hang. So remember last week, this is what we call a lazy man's traction. Traction is, in the medical world, is lengthening and creating space for joints. So here we're creating some space and length with the force of gravity on the lower back, and hopefully the cervical neck as well, with the weight of the head being the traction. Okay, really feel rooted and grounded through the soles of your feet. Keep your chin tucked into your chest. Let your head be the last thing to roll up as you stack one vertebra on top of the other. And once you're all the way up, bring the shoulders up to the ears. Exhale, roll them back. And take your hands behind your back and squeeze your shoulder blades together. So if the arms are straight, if you see me walking around the beach, you may see me walking with my hands like this. And release. Now, if you have socks on and they're not sticky, now is a good time to remove them. Come up to the fronts of your mats for sun salutations. And at any time, please take a sip of water. So come right up to the fronts of your mats. Inhaling in place. Exhale, hands in prayer. Step your feet apart. Reach up, look up, arc and expand. Fingers are active. Inhale, bring your feet back towards one another. Lift out of your waist. Hinge from the tops of your legs, reaching forward as you fold. If you need to get your fingertips on the floor, bend your knees. If not, please let your head hang whichever way your legs are. Step your left leg back, drop the knee to the mat, bring your hands onto your front thigh, focus your gaze for balance, press in towards your back heel, arms up, holding the invisible beach ball. Fingers are active. Press through that back heel. That's your anchor. Keep your rib cage in as opposed to popping out. Turn your hands forward, spread your fingers apart, take your front leg back. Whatever plank position is best for you today. Knees on or off the floor. If your knees are on the floor, lift your feet and cross at the ankles. Perhaps you're just building your strength, so maybe you're spending part of your time in the full plank and then releasing and coming down onto your knees when you need to. Always practicing awareness, respect, and compassion for your body. Release your knees to the floor. Flatten the tops of your feet. Leave your hands where they are and take your hips back towards your heels. Stretching your latissimus dorsi. Stretching through the shoulders. Everything's connected when the shoulders and arms are reaching up. This is a nice stretch for the upper part of the chest, the lungs. Leaving your hands where they are. Lower your forearms and elbows. And when you can, coming forward nice and low, lower your chest and your chin. If you practice this posture on a fairly regular basis, even once a week, there'll be no dowager's hump, there'll be no kyphosis, you'll have a nicely rounded but not overly rounded upper back. Slide everything out behind you. Lower your forehead. Draw your fingertips back to align with the tops of your shoulders and bring your elbows and forearms in towards your side body and now towards the floor. Roll an invisible alley with your nose. On an inhale, everyone coming up into baby cobra. Stretching the upper chest muscles, eyes open or closed, rolling up towards your third eye, Ajna chakra, your seat of intuition. And one more breath in, lifting. Exhale, lengthen and lower. Curl your toes under, press your hands into the floor, lift your hips up, walk your feet a couple of inches forward, bend your knees, belly on thighs, chest towards knees, ears just inside of your arms. All 10 fingers pressing into the floor, and you have that carpal tunnel on the inside of your palm, creating space. And now press your sits bones towards the back wall, your mat, and press your heels down towards the floor. Doesn't matter if they touch. Downward facing dog. Beautiful stretch, lengthening for the spine. Stretching these core rib cage muscles. Lift your left leg up in the air, tilt it over to the right side, bending at the knee. Have a look at your foot, maybe underneath your right armpit. Take the leg back out, and then look at your left hand and swing that foot as far forward as you can. If it doesn't go very far, drop the opposite knee, pick the foot up at the ankle, and bring it towards the front of your mat. Other leg forward, Uttanasana, standing forward bend. Again, a nice lazy traction for the lower back. Arms beside your ears, engage your thighs. Sweep the arms out in front, reaching up, feet apart for balance. Look up, arc back. Inhale, feet come back together. Lift out of your waist. Fold from the tops of your hips. Let your fingertips touch the floor. Let your head hang. Bend your knees. Sweep the arms out to the side, reaching up. Palms together. Exhale. Hands to heart. Anjali Mudra. Second round. Inhale. Start at the front of your mats, please. Inhaling, exhaling, take your feet apart. Arms up, reach up, arc back, expand. Inhale, bring your feet back together. Lift out of your waist. Hinge from your hips, reaching forward as you fold. Step your right leg back and drop the knee to the mat. Bring your hands onto your left thigh and focus your gaze. Lifting up, press through your back heel. Keep your torso directly over your hips. That will help with balance. And sweep the arms up. Fingers are active. If you look at the floor 8 to 9 feet in front of you, or focus on something that's not moving, and breathe. Really press through that back heel. Get that sense of being really anchored and grounded. Turn your hands forward, spread your fingers apart, coming into plank. Pressing all 10 fingers into the mat. Activates more of the muscles of the forearm as opposed to the fingers just hanging out and doing nothing. I mean, you know, experiment. Let your fingers relax and notice how much harder it is to hold this position as opposed to all 10 fingers pressing into the mat with intention to alleviate some of the excess weight in the wrists and the forearms. Release your knees, flatten the tops of your feet, leave your hands where they are, and slowly take your hips back towards your heels, releasing your belly on your thighs, stretching through your spine, your lower back, your lats. And breathe. Leave your hands where they are. Slowly lower your forearms and elbows. And coming forward, staying low, bum high. And when you're able, release your chest and your chin onto your mats. Slide everything out behind you. I know how awkward that posture is, but trust me, your spine is thanking you for it. Lower your forehead, align your fingertips with the edges of your shoulders, bring your elbows into your side body, press your forearms down towards the floor. We can try for the fuller expression of cobra if we wish. You may want to separate your feet and roll your baby toes into the mat. Roll an invisible alley with your nose. On an inhale, let's everybody come up into baby cobra. Be sure your elbows aren't winging out, nor your shoulders rising up. Shoulder blades are down your back and shoulders away from your ears. If you want to try the fuller expression, you're pushing the floor away from you, keeping the elbows tucked. And if you find this is not going to work, then lower yourself back down. A gentle curve in the cervical vertebra, your neck, eyes rolling up towards your middle third eye. Thank God it's invisible. Otherwise, we'd have to buy more mascara. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, all the way down. Bring your legs back together. Curl your toes under. Pressing up into downward facing dog. Walk your feet a few inches forwards. Bend your knees. Make sure you're pressing all 10 fingers into the mat. Press your belly to your thighs, your chest towards your knees. Align your ears with your inner arms. And lifting the right leg up behind you, tilt it over to the left, look under your left armpit, and bring the leg straight out behind you again, your three-legged dog. Look at your right hand, swing that foot as far forward as you can, other leg forward. Exhale, Uttanasana. Letting your upper body hang, standing forward, bend. Inhale, come halfway up, place your hands on your shins. Tabletop your spine. Exhale, forward fold. And then bend your knees. We're going to come into horseman's pose. Make sure you're transferring your weight towards the back of your feet. And inhale, sweep the arms at least a shoulder height. If it's available, reaching up to align your ears with your arms. And you're sitting as if you were going to sit in a chair. So most of the weight is in the back half of your feet. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. Engage your thighs, arms beside your ears. Inhale, sweep the arms up, feet apart for balance. Look up, arc back. Inhale, feet come back together, lift up out of your waist. Bend your knees, inhale, sweep the arms out to the side, reaching up. Exhale, Anjali Mudra. Take a sip of water if you like, and then flat out and relaxing just for a moment. So as you're lying down, it's always helpful if you can turn your palms up in the open and receiving position. This external rotation of your arms lengthens your collarbones, opens your chest, and just let your body be soft and heavy. Close your eyes. Let your feet splay out. Just take a moment. We're allowing the benefits of what we have just done to be absorbed, integrated. And while you're just here for a moment, you could choose between Dirga Pranayama, which is 3-part breathing. So inhaling with your belly, diaphragm or rib cage, chest, and exhaling from the chest, diaphragm, belly. Or if you prefer, Sama Vritti, equal breath, counting to 4 in and counting to 4 out. More space and flexibility in the rib cage increases the lung capacity, which means we have better exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. And spring is quite simply the best time of year to practice pranayama breathing exercise. There's far more prana, far more life force, oxygen in the air, because everything that's green practices something called photosynthesis. It releases oxygen and it uses our carbon dioxide for that process. So it's a beautiful symbiotic relationship between what we think is nature and us. The reality is we're all part of nature. So by taking care of nature, we take care of ourselves. Drawing the knees in towards the chest or rolling over onto your side. We're going to come up to a standing position again. Coming over onto your knees, curl your toes under. Keep your knees soft, let your upper body hang and slowly roll up, stacking 1 vertebra at a time, letting your head be the last thing to come up. And coming up to the fronts of your mats. Now, I put a block at either end of my mat right now. I may not use it, but if you have blocks, you could put them at either end of your mat right now, so they're in place should you need them. So starting up at the front of your mat, take your right foot back for warrior 2. Front foot is 90 degrees forward. You've got a straight line through the heel of your front foot to the arch of your back foot, and your back foot's about 30 degrees forward, and you're bending your front knee. So remember, we talked about this tracking and strengthening vastus medialis, that inner thigh muscle, so that your kneecap stays happy and healthy. Really important. Make sure your knee is tracking over your middle toes and your shoulders are over your hips. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale, lower your shoulders and fix your gaze over your front fingers. So point your arm towards me, Janet. Right now you're kind of like that. How about that? And bend that front knee. And then lower your back arm down your back legs. We're stretching intercostal muscles here, reaching up with your top arm. And exhale, come back to warrior two. Now keep pressing into the outside of your back foot and keep that front knee pressing away from the middle of the mat. And then one more time, coming into reverse warrior, side bending. So you're really reaching, not even just straight up, you might be able to reach a little bit back. Coming back into warrior. And now lower your front forearm onto your front thigh for side angle bend. Take that back arm down, around, and bring it over your ear. So your bottom palm faces up and your top palm faces down. Now, be sure you're pressing into the outside of your back foot. On an inhale, straighten your front leg and come into Trikonasana. So you're opening both arms, one up and one down. And then you're bending that front leg and you're coming back into side angle bend, reaching the top arm over your ear. One more time, Trikonasana. So you're straightening your front leg and you're reaching both arms, one up and one down. Now lower your back arm onto your back thigh or your hip. Look forward towards the top of your mat. You're going to transfer your weight onto your front leg. This is where you may wish to use your block or tent your fingers on the floor and lift your back leg off the floor. Ardha Chandrasana, crescent moon, and then maybe lift your top arm up. And if you really want to go for it, you're lifting your fingers off the floor, but please don't try unless you feel that you really want to go for it. Okay, let's bend the front leg, step your leg back, one more into Trikonasana. Inhale, come up, pivot on your feet, and let's change to the other direction so that instead of somebody looking at you, you can be looking at them now, something like that. So you're going to turn around. Okay, bend your front leg, look down and see your big toe inside of your knee. Don't let your torso go forward. It likes to when you bend your knee. Keep your shoulders over your hips. Press into the outside of your back foot. Inhale, sweep the arms up to shoulder height and lower your shoulders. Warrior two. Keep pressing that front knee towards the outside of your mat. Keep pressing into the outside of your back foot. So feet are going to be stationary or just moving the upper body. Lower your back arm, down your back leg. Reach the other arm straight up and maybe arc back. Maybe, if it feels okay. So you're stretching one side of the intercostal, you're compressing the other. And coming back into warrior two. You're just moving your upper body. Breathe. Inhale, let's do our reverse warrior. Once again, reaching your back arm down your back leg, reaching the top arm up, maybe even arcing. And coming back to warrior two. Now you're going to lower your front forearm onto your front thigh for side angle bend. You're going to take your arm that's in the back, sweep it down in front of your body and over your ear and blossom your heart center to the side of your mat. So your bottom palm faces up and your top palm faces down. On an inhale, straighten your front leg, straighten your arms so one is directly up and above the other one that's down. And exhale, bend the front knee. You're coming back into side angle bend, bringing the top arm over your ear. Nice, everybody. Inhale, coming back into triangle, Trikonasana. Now lower that top arm onto your hip and look towards the top of your mat. Bend your front knee. Transfer your weight onto your front leg. You're scooching the back leg up. You're either using your block or tenting your fingers on the floor, lifting your back leg up, and then reaching your top arm up. Ardha Chandrasana, crescent moon. And if you wish, you can lift your fingers off the floor and balance just on your leg. And bend the front knee, step back, coming into Trikonasana. And inhale, come on up. Turn sideways on your mat. You get to look at somebody else now. What fun. Okay, halfway, bending from the tops of your legs, tabletop your spine. Bring your fingertips down onto the mat or the floor underneath your face. On an inhale, sweep the left arm up, reaching up, stretching up. So all this twisting of the rib cage and the core. Exhale, floating down, creates more capacity for your lungs to receive oxygen. Inhale, sweeping the other arm up. And that equals more energy for you, more cleansing, more oxygen to your muscles, and removing, and lower that arm down. Walk your feet in towards one another, and come on down onto your bellies, prone. Now we're going to be in for the fun stuff. You know what that means. Now listen, we have choices here. We always have choices. You know, we think we don't sometimes. I know I don't think I have a choice. I have to have a knee-jerk reaction to everything. But, oh, okay. Come on down on your belly. Here's your options, everybody. You can come up into Sphinx. You could come up into Cobra if you want. You could also do a half bow, half Dhanurasana. So that means the leg you bend, you're going to take hold with the same hand. Your head stays down. And the last option, of course, is the really fun one. And that's the full bow. So not everybody's going to want to do that. I understand. But I'll just show you the full bow. If your legs are wide apart, much easier. But if you don't need it, and then the thing in bow pose, it's all about kicking those legs back. Now, this may not be accessible, but gee, I'm seeing a lot of people here going for it. So that's fine. And you know what? Whatever's working, you can do, because we're going to do it twice. So do a one-leg bow, or do a baby cobra, a sphinx, or a full cobra. This is about opening up the chest. Okay? You're almost there. Kick your legs back. Kick back. Yeah. Kick back. Kick, kick. Okay, that'll do. Turn your head to the side. Big toes touch, heels splay out, shoulders melt. And yes, you'll be breathing heavily and kind of short. Just let your breath normalize. So if you did the one-leg bow, you can do it on the other side. We're just going to do it one more time. It's a very intense posture. There's no question about it. But the benefits are enormous. There are hundreds of yoga postures, and when you add the variations, we can start getting into the thousands. But what I do try to offer you in these classes are the postures that have the greatest benefit. Bring your head back to the center. Again, you have the choice, your baby cobra, your full cobra, your sphinx pose with your elbows underneath your shoulders and arms straight out in front, or the one-legged bow, or the two-legged bow. If you spread your legs apart, much easier to take hold of your ankles. And inhale, kick the legs back. If you're coming into your bow, kick your legs back, Janet. Kick, 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 kick back. It's okay, you've got a hold of your ankles. That's half the battle. Shh. Shoulders down, Martha. Yep. Okay, good work, everybody. And and releasing. Just take a moment. Let's come into Makrasana. This is diaphragmatic breathing. So you're going to take your forearms and you're folding them in front. You're lowering your forehead onto your forearms. So half of your, if not all of your diaphragm is off the floor. And you're just relaxing here, Makrasana, crocodile. And breathe. Send your elbows a little further, your forearms a little bit further if you feel like you're compressing in the neck area. But your forehead is resting on your forearms. Okay, lovely. Come on over onto your backs. We're just going to release any kind of tension that may be hanging out in our lower backs. Draw your, and have a look that you know where your eye cover is, because we'll go right into Shavasana after this. Bring your right knee up in towards your chest and draw your left knee. And just do some rocking from side to side, holding on to your shins. And you might want to make some circles or stay with the rocking. And now, bringing your knees together, arms out, shoulder height, out to the side. Take both knees over to the left. And attempt to keep your right shoulder on the mat. Stretching again through the rib cage, the intercostals, the latissimus dorsi, all the muscles we talked about, the serrates anterior. And releasing any tension from the spine, the back. Let's bring just the right knee up. As you slowly roll onto your back, the other knee is going to follow, and you're going to take one knee at a time over to the other side. And perhaps either keep your head to the center or turn it to the opposite side. Inhale, come back to the center. And you could either keep your knees bent, if you like, with your feet on the floor. You could bring the soles of your feet together and open your knees in Baddha Konasana, or extend your legs straight out in front. Arms beside your body with your palms facing up in the open and receiving position. Lift your shoulder blades off the floor and tuck them under your heart center. Tilt your chin towards the center of your chest. Separate the biting surfaces of the teeth. Relax the jaw and surrender to the force of gravity and allow yourself to be supported by the floor. Please feel good about your efforts. When we stretch the area of the rib cage and all those muscles, we release a lot of tension from an area that doesn't get this type of movement throughout a normal day. And it reduces the restriction that we can feel when we do want to move for our gardening and all the things that we're hoping to do in the summertime that we can't do in the wintertime. We want and need that flexibility, that range of movement and mobility. Anytime we're feeling frazzled, stressed, fearful, ungrounded, untethered, remember the practice of 3-part breathing, Dirga, bringing the protection of the mother, the fierceness of a goddess warrior into your life. Or Vritti, equal breath. Simple and yet enormously beneficial to our nervous system, our state of being, and enjoying where we live, which is in our bodies. Inhaling the life force long, full, and deep. And deep, exhaling. Long, full, deep inhaling. And let it all go. Let's stretch the arms over behind the head, reaching and stretching. Axial extension, point feet far, flex the feet and point, and drop your arms down by your side. Take a moment to roll over onto your side, bending your knees to protect your lower back. Use your bottom arm as a pillow, just for a moment. And when you're ready, press yourself back up into a seated position. And just close your eyes for a moment. May you be at peace. May your heart remain open. May you awaken to the light of your own true nature. May you be healed, and may you be a source of healing for others. Om Shanti, Namaste.